Hey everybody, welcome back to Everyman Prepping. It's Friday. Hope you're having a great day today. Getting ready to do some good prepping this weekend. And along with that, September being National Preparedness Month, I did some prepping today. I went out and got some precious metals. Now some of you are thinking, oh, you probably got gold, silver, or something like that. No, we got these. We got these in the wide mouth version and the regular version. These are the metals I bought. These are the precious metals I bought today. Why did I get these? Well, it's canning season for one, that we're harvesting our gardens and all that, but if you don't have these, you're not canning. They're very valuable. They're going to be worth like money one day, if you ask me. When they run out, there's no production, all that stuff, you're going to have to find a way to can. If you don't have lids stacked, stockpiled to the rafters, you're not canning. So you're going to be trading stuff to get them. If you have these, you can maybe spend them like money and get what you need. So it's just everybody go out there, buy these, stack them up. I know they're like twice as expensive as they were a year or two ago, and it's painful, but you got to do it. One other thing in dealing with that, now it's just, you don't do this. This is what I do, because if you do this, the government says you'll probably die. But I save my old lids from canning. The easy can, the pickle recipes where you don't really can for more than 20 minutes or so. I do save those for one rainy day when I might not have brand new ones, and I have to reuse one, even though you're not supposed to. No one recommends it. The government does recommend it. That's what I do. You make your own decision, but that's, what I'm doing. But everybody, stack your own precious metals. This is one of them. Definitely get those. Now let's talk about China. China is ready. And what are they ready for? They're ready for war. They're ready for war with Taiwan. And we're going to go through stuff, how we know that this is ready, how we know it's this time, why I think it's going to happen soon. And then we're also going to hit little things that, Putin had a little message for the United States today. And finally, a domestic issue, domestic happening we need to talk about at the very end. So hit that like button as we go through this. Smash that subscribe button as well. Thumbs up, all that great stuff. And let's get on to what we're talking about with China, the most important thing. Because as they get ready, and we know they're ready, you need to get ready. If you're not ready and China's ready, you're going to be in trouble. Because once that war happens, once that attack hits, 90% of the stuff we get comes through China, comes through that Taiwan channel there. And if you're not ready when that happens, you're not getting ready anymore. Sure, some stuff will be available. It'll go through third parties, third countries, but it'll be 4 or 5 times the price by the time it gets here. Low in supply. So China's ready. You need to get ready. So here we see that China sent 68 warplanes and Navy vessels towards Taiwan in a 24-hour period. And it says that they also sent the aircraft carrier through the Western Pacific area. We'll check that out in a minute. It also said Japan's defense ministry also said Wednesday its Navy had detected 6 ships, including frigates, destroyers, and a fast combat support ship, and the Shandong, the China's aircraft carrier, sailing through the waters 400 miles south of Miyakojima Island. So we're talking, where is it? What are we talking about? Well, here's China over here, China, Taiwan here, of course. And then we have Japan up there and the Philippines down below. I guess I could zoom out and show you more. But what they're talking about is this little island here. Okinawa's right over here. We have a lot of Navy bases there, Marine bases, all that stuff. Air Force too, I think. Anyway, this island here, they said they discovered about 400 miles south, the aircraft carrier and training. So China's way out here in the Pacific doing training. What are they training for? Well, we're going to see in a minute, but they're training to take on the United States and its aircraft carriers and everything. They also sent the 68 ships around this area over here to basically practice, I think, landing drills, attacks, isolating the island, all that. And then you'll also find out that they did some stuff here to the south in between the Philippines and Taiwan, because the U.S. is building bases right here on the tip. So they're practicing over here. Now, as a country, it costs a lot to do this. Foreign military, myself, it's expensive. Fuel, munitions, food, supplies, wear and tear on just the vehicles, because they need repair parts. So you're not sending ships daily, planes daily around Taiwan, 68, 20, 30, 40 the next day, running your boats out there, your ships. You're not doing that, spending that money, like I said, doing that wear and tear, having to do the services, unless you're going to go and do that attack soon. So it's building up. That's how I think they're ready. They're just waiting for the right time. And when is that right time? Well, I'm going to talk about in a minute. Let me just say if I have anything left in this article here. Now they're just talking about more of the drills, then going to the south. But let's get into this here. This is China preparing for war, what the U.S. Air Force Secretary says. So, Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall. Now, this isn't a former general. This is someone in the administration, the current Secretary of the Air Force, So, he's obviously got to know, right? He's part of this planning. So, he on Monday, this past Monday of this week, warned that China was building up its military to prepare for a potential war with the U.S. All right, right out of the horse's mouth. He also said that the U.S. must be ready for a kind of war. He put this in quotes. Quote, a kind of war we have no modern experience with. But he also said war is not inevitable. That means to me it is. But so this is going to be a war we're not experienced with. Why? Because China's Navy is bigger than our Navy. They got tons of people, men. They got desire. So it's not, when you're fighting Iraq and Iran and against the Taliban, that's nothing compared to what you're going up against the Chinese and basically a world power. That's what he means by that. Right now, Ukraine's getting great experience fighting Russia. We've never even gone up against Russia, so we have no experience there. But you know what? Russia's getting great experience. So if NATO goes in and we have to go in, Russia's going to have all the experience. He also went on to say this. China is developing its forces at a rapid pace. And this is both ground and naval and air. And has created two new branches. So this is what China's created. He said one of them is a force designed to counter aircraft carriers, airfields, and other critical assets. And so that's one of the new branches. And that's why they're in the Pacific, because they're looking at taking out U.S. aircraft carriers, airfields in Okinawa and the Philippines, other strategic radar sites. So they have a specific branch dedicated to that. The U.S. has never faced that. That's why it's unprecedented. The second asset they created, the second branch, is a strategic support service that works to achieve information dominance in the space and cyber domains. So information dominance in the space and cyber. So what is that? That is, cyber attacks, hacking, the grid, EMP, all that stuff. They want to dominate. They want to maybe take the internet down. They want to influence it. So they got a whole branch dedicated to that. And they're going to have to deal with that when you go to war with Taiwan. They're not just going to come with missiles and bombs. No. They're going to come after the grid, the internet, infrastructure, all that. And he's basically saying that's what's going to happen. And along with this buildup, we have this story out of Fox, that the Chinese shipbuilding capacity is 200 times greater than the U.S.'s. And we already know that China has a bigger navy than the U.S., number of ships-wise, not aircraft carriers. We have more of those, which are just a giant drain on the budget, but that's another subject to talk about. But they have a bigger navy by number of ships, by a lot. Now they can have their capacity is 200 times greater. Well, that's not good, because as we can see here, that the Chinese shipyards, where the ships are built and repaired, their capacity is 23.2 million tons compared to only 100,000 tons in the U.S. So if war happens and ships are damaged or sunk, you know what? China's cranking out new ones, repairing their ships before the U.S. could probably drag their old damaged ones to a port to get fixed. That's what they're prepared for, and that's why another reason they're ready to go. And when I say they're ready to go, when I say the timing, I'm talking about soon, because when you look at things I've read and researched, the weather, the ocean currents, the seas between the Taiwan Straits here, the best times are April and October. Or we're coming up to October here, and it's September, and they're ramping up their training. So it could be a few weeks now where we have China going to war, because October, like I said, usually the seas are calmer, the ocean currents are great for landings, and the weather is supportive of it. And that's mostly in October. After that, you got to wait till April again. So we're going to see here very soon if China's ready to go, and I think they are. So, like I said, you get ready. You get everything you need and do it now, because time may be short. Let's switch gears now. Let's go on over here to Russia. And here we have Putin. He's basically saying that the U.S. believes that they are an exceptional country, exceptions to everything. He stated that the U.S. views that the use of cluster munitions is a crime. That's part of the U.S. doctrine. But we just gave Ukraine cluster munitions. And he says, yeah, they ignore their deployment in Ukraine. And that double standard is just one of the reasons why the world is moving away from the West homogeny. And he's 100% correct. You got a lot of African nations pulling away. Don't sleep on Niger. That coup is still going on. France is building up troops in Nigeria and all that. By the way, the Nigerian grid just went down today, total collapse. They said it was a fire. They're rebuilding it. We'll see what happens. But a lot of West African countries turning towards Russia and China, away from the United States. BRICS just went up. They're 11 strong now. Middle East turning towards Russia, getting rid of the petrodollar. So yeah, they're dumping the United States. But yes, the United States still says we're exceptional. And that leads to this. We've talked about Kim Jong-un and Putin meeting, doing arms deals and all that for technology, which I'm glad a lot of other people finally got around to that. They've been saying it now. I've seen a lot of videos. I've seen mainstream media even coming out saying, hey, they're going to give tech to North Korea. That's what I came out with. I think my video 2 or 3 days ago, so glad I got a chance to bring that to you guys first out there. Anyway, South Korea and the U.S. want to warn Russia about this. They think they can tell what to do again, which they're going to find out the U.S. really doesn't have its bully pulpit anymore. Now, this is from the South Korean foreign minister, and he says, Russian military cooperation with North Korea is a grave violation of UN Security Council resolutions, and they must act responsibly. I don't think there's going to be anything they're going to do to stop them. He says that the United States and South Korea have agreed to work together to ensure there is a price to pay for the grave violation of the Security Council resolutions. Now, I don't know what the United States thinks they can do to North Korea or Russia to make them not work together. I mean, you got Putin basically saying, look, NATO's shipping all kinds of money and weapons to Ukraine. What, North Korea can't help us out? We're allies. That's what the world sees us too, and they know it's just ridiculous. Plus, we can put more sanctions. They've tried that on Russia. Haven't done much. North Korea's been under sanctions for, I don't know, who knows how many years, and they're still going. So that's not going to work. I think it's just, word bolstering by the United States and South Korea saying, we told you to stop, you better do it. But that's not going to stop them. It's just going to escalate and go from there. The only thing they can do if they want to, they can do a regime change. Are they going to do a cyber attacks in Russia and Korea to stop it? Are they going to, besides doing the proxy war, they're going to have to get involved themselves. Maybe that's what the United States is looking for. Hopefully not, because that's going to be a world of hurt for everybody. So the last thing here, let's get to the last thing I want to talk about. And we've been going for a little while here, and everybody needs to get on to their weekend. But we have the United Auto Workers strike here in the United States. It's historic. Why is it historic? They've striked before, right? Yes. But they're doing all three major automakers at once. Ford, GM, and Chrysler. It's not really Chrysler. As you can see on the screen, I highlighted it. It's Stellantis. Stellantis. I didn't even know that. I had to look it up. I'm like, what the hell is Stellantis? Well, it's the old Chrysler. They bought them out and changed their name. It's Fiat and Jeep and all them. So Ford, GM, and Stellantis. They were striking all of them at once. Right now, about 12,000. Could go up to 146,000. And then what I want to point out here is that these are like it says here, targeted or bottleneck strikes are an alternative to the national actions in which the union only strikes selective plants. So what they're doing is they're striking the plants that are critical to other plants working. They're the ones that make the parts for the other plants to continue working. So if you shut down the parts plants, the strategic ones, and they can't make the parts, well, the other plants have to shut down too without you striking, because they don't have any work. They don't have the parts to make the cars and all that. It's to put pressure on. It's to cause a shutdown of all three of the workers without saying you walked off the line at all the factories. Kind of protects them a little bit, gives them some strength and motivation. So that's why it could grow to 146,000 if they do a work stoppage, or if the plants has to shut down because there's no parts. There's gonna be big impact on the economy. I'm seeing that it'll impact the GDP a few percent, which would be huge. It'll deepen the recession, because you have more people out of work and they won't be able to buy their food, groceries, rent, mortgage, all that stuff. So we need to keep our eye on this. It might be a nasty fight. The reason I think the union's doing this, they saw that UPS deal. UPS union, they struck a sweetheart deal. Tons of money for their new guys, tons of other perks they got. And I said this at the time when the UPS got what they did, that other unions are going to see that and try it also. They're going to try to get as much as they can now. And hey, more power to them if they can do it. But I think that's just going to be, those costs are just going to be passed on. Soon you'll see some UPS costs go up. I think you're going to see UPS layoffs this winter when the recession gets deeper and they can't pay all the workers. But right now, the United Auto Workers say they want more pay and more time off. And a lot more pay, like 40% or something like that. So it's a lot more pay. We'll see how that works out for them. But, I think, like I said, they saw what happened to UPS. They got a sweetheart deal. They're looking for one too. I don't know if the factory, the owners, the GM and Fords, if they'll give in and give them a ton of money or not. Which if they do, like I said, going to increase that inflation. More money out there. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I know it's going to be painful at first for both sides. And we'll see who blinks first. So, if you have an opinion on any of this stuff, put it in the comments below. What do you think about the strike? Do you think China's going to go or not? And when do you think they might go? Anything you want, put it down below. And, let us all know what are you going to plan on doing this weekend. Are you going to grab some of your own precious metals or are you going to do something else? And until next time, keep your ear to the ground and head on a swivel.